I'm Al McFarlane. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarlane. Glad to be here and glad to have you along. As we speak, I'm monitoring Georgia Fort's footage on the shooting. I think it was in downtown Minneapolis last night. We'll try to maybe say something about that before the show is over. We're also concerned about the tragic death of a young man at Richfield Public Schools on yesterday around noon. And maybe we'll get a chance to discuss that in a bit as well. If you are watching this show and are connected in any way through family or friend or neighborhood with either of these incidences, we'd like to hear from you. Check us out or to let us know on our Facebook or YouTube stream. And we want to again, bring awareness to the community about these events. I'm going to continue today's program in a few minutes. I want to first, today, Wednesday, we talk about entrepreneurship and about business. We continue in our relationship with the Black Women's Wealth Alliance, BWWA, and for the past several weeks, maybe 8 weeks or so, we featured members of the B Marketplace, BEE Marketplace, B as in queen bees, Black women who are entrepreneurs who have over the past 2 months held a virtual marketplace. It's wrapping up now, but we've had a great time introducing to you some brilliant innovators and entrepreneurs, people who have ideas, vision, um, uh, capacities that they are bringing to the service of the community. But before we continue that interview today, I want to share with you, in case you missed it, the interview I did yesterday with Minnesota's Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan. We talked for about 10, 12 minutes. Good conversation, good energy. I hope you'll enjoy this. Share, let your people know that we are representing this interview with Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, and then we'll come back and talk to businesses, part of our regular Wednesday business leadership program. I'm Al McFarlane. Stay tuned. AZ, go ahead and roll the interview with Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. Al McFarlane, good morning. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarlane. It's a pleasure to have this conversation with Minnesota's Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Al. I'm good. It's good to see you.
There we go. Good to see you again.
You too. It's been a while. So, and happy Black History Month.
Well, thank you, and Happy New Year as well. You know, you all are moving into the new legislative session. I think it begins today. What's on your mind? What's on the governor's mind as you move our state to dealing with the great problem of a $7 billion budget surplus? What are you thinking, and what do you want to happen?
Well, I think this is a tremendous opportunity for Minnesotans, and it is building on our COVID-19 recovery budget of 2021. We now have an opportunity here with a $7.7 billion budget to really move Minnesota forward, which means investing in children and families and community. Some of our top priorities are making sure that we fund childcare and lower costs for families across the state. One of the things that, I've certainly been working towards for a very long time is a proposal to fully fund and forecast the child care assistance program, which would virtually eliminate the waiting list. Things like paid family and medical leave, earned sick and safe time are priorities as well. And then something, again, as a child advocate, I'm pretty excited about is making sure that we have access to universal breakfast and lunch for every child who attends a public school. And those are things that are important in the long term for our state. But when we have an opportunity, the financial health of our state is good. And now is a time when we invest in communities and our future to ensure that it stays that way.
What would you say are the essential differences in the Waltz Flanagan approach to taking advantage of the budget opportunity and the point of view of the people from the other side of the aisle, the Republicans?
Well, I can only share with you, what they have told us, which is essentially no. And I think no is not a plan. And when they have shared with us what they want to do, they continue to talk about tax cuts. But we know that those tax cuts that they are proposing go to the wealthiest Minnesotans. And so if we're going to give, tax relief to Minnesotans, that should be middle class and working folks. And that's what our plan does. But that's essentially what we have heard, is that they want to give tax cuts to the wealthiest Minnesotans. And I don't think that serves our state very well. And we're going to continue to work, because I think Minnesotans are ready. They're ready to have the cost of childcare lowered and the cost of healthcare lowered, and to invest in folks. And one of the things that you've probably also heard about is we've talked about, they've now been called Wells checks, but giving families swift relief. And so for a single individual, it's $175 direct cash payment, or $350 for a family. And I don't know about you, but I'm a mom of a 9-year-old who goes through gym shoes like nobody's business.
Sure,
And so,
sure.
that buys a lot of shoes, or it's 4 boxes of diapers. And these are real costs that Minnesotans have, or a significant part of your rent, or maybe your mortgage payment. So we can give people relief in the short term, but also start planning for long-term benefits for the entire state.
What big items or big plans are, you mentioned education and children and families. Generally, what does this budget opportunity mean for housing challenges? What does it mean for public safety? And what does it mean for education? Those are 3 huge areas, I think, that affect everybody in the state. What do you think, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan?
Absolutely. So I'll start with housing. We have over $1 billion proposed in our budget to address issues of housing and support for our relatives experiencing homelessness. So there's a historic proposal of $250 million in housing infrastructure bonds, as well as support for capital for local shelters, down payment assistance as well for families. And I know that in my community and in the Black community, that home ownership is a real issue. So we have some proposals here too, to make sure that we can increase home ownership in our BIPOC communities. I'm excited about that piece. And then some additional protections for renters are some of our policy proposals. But I'm sure you are familiar with the program Homework Starts with Home, which provides essentially rental assistance for families, so that our kiddos who may be at risk, their families, for experiencing homelessness, can continue to live in the community where their school is, and have that stability. We want to extend that for prenatal to age 3 as well for families. So that's pretty significant. And then on the public safety side, I'm proud of our proposal, and we focused on 3 areas. The first area is local law enforcement. And so making sure that cities can decide if they want to pay for additional first responders, police officers, but also mental health response, if that's something that is important in communities, and we want our local communities to be able to decide what's best for their own communities. The second piece is funding for community groups. So we know that funding youth intervention, out of school time, support for programs that encourage pastors, right, to stand on corners and have conversations, be in the community. That's critically important too. And then the last piece is our strategic violence prevention initiative, which is about being precise in going after the folks who are, perpetuating some of these violent crimes as well. And then for education, we've talked about this before, but we know that our children don't come in pieces. And so we have a proposal that focuses on making sure, of course, I just talked about meals. So it's sort of M&M, it's meals, mental health support for schools. We put additional dollars also on the education funding formula. We're still playing catch up. We had a big, investment last session, but there's more to do. And when you have a $7.7 billion surplus, now is the time to invest in our schools and our children who have really been through it in the last 2 years.
Are there specific Minneapolis bonding proposals you're following or supporting?
Yeah. So one of the things that we were able to do in 2020 was our equity and bonding proposal, and that was $30 million in cash that was set aside for programs led by and for Black, Indigenous, and communities of color led projects. And so that was passed. We've already seen that good work in organizations like Juxta and the Native American Community Clinic. So this year, because that has gotten such great results, we proposed $100 million in cash equity projects. So we proposed V3, which is on the north side. Additional
right down the street from me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yep, we go to church every Sunday. We drive right past it, and it was super exciting to go inside. I'm like, I know what that's going to be now. It's going to be beautiful. So we did a visit there with Senator Champion and Representative Agbaje as well, which was really cool to see it all. Phyllis Wheatley as well is in our bonding proposal. And then there's additional support for projects on the north side through Minneapolis Park and Rec. But really, there's an opportunity with this $100 million for our communities in a way that we've just never seen before. Like bonding for such a long time was a secret handshake behind closed doors. And even when I was in the legislature, I was like, I don't know how this deal is getting made. And so we wanted to pull the curtain back and make sure that our communities were part of that process. So we proposed $100 million. The governor and I have proposed 43 million of that go to specific projects like V3 or Phyllis Wheatley. But then the remaining 57 million, we want to work with the legislature and with the community to decide, where those dollars should go.
What are you looking at to close out, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, in terms of the upcoming election? How are you organizing? What's the Walsh-Flanagan strategy for the elections in the fall? And I haven't asked this before, I'm not sure why I haven't, but after your second term, is there a possibility of a run for governor, for senator, or vice president, for president? What's ahead for Peggy Flanagan?
Well, thank you. What's immediately ahead for Peggy Flanagan is I want to get through this election and keep being your lieutenant governor. But, never say never. I'm not going to take any options off the table. If Minnesota wants me to continue to lead, I would be honored to be able to do so. But here's what I'll say for this campaign. We are staffing up and we are building out our team. Tonight are precinct caucuses, so I encourage people to attend. But we are building out a robust organizing program all across the state, and that's how we're going to win. And one of the things that I think people have seen is that the governor and I, it's hard with COVID, but the governor and I really like getting out there and talking to folks and meeting with people. And I think honestly, that's the secret sauce. Just being in community, hearing from folks, and I'm ready to hit the road, and I know that he is too. But we'd be honored and humbled to be able to continue in this role. We've got some work to do, and I think the budget that we just rolled out is the reason why we ran for office in the first place.
Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, thank you so much. Good to see you again. Good luck.
Good to see you. Thanks so much, Al. Take good care.
Thanks again to Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan for the interview yesterday. It was a good interview, good information, and it says there's a lot on the table, a lot at stake financially for our community, and culturally as well. Well, one of the things we want to keep doing is talking about wealth creation and business in our community. And I'm pleased to have back this week my friend, family friend. I know her parents and family quite well, Ayana Shakir. She leads Shakir Consulting Services. And last week we talked briefly about the services and the background for her business, but we didn't get a chance to go through her website. So I asked her to come back today to just continue our conversation about her story, her community, her business, her vision, and also to walk us through and share that story through looking at our website. Ayana, good afternoon. Good to see you again. Unmute. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me again, Mr. McFarlane. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Good to see you again. So I wanted to first kind of let you walk us through the products and the work of Shakir Consulting as you present that to the world through your website. So are you able to share that, or is AZ able to share it?
Let me see if I can pull it up and try to
Okay,
show it. Let me first find it.
sure.
No
Or
problem.
AZ, I don't know if you were able to find it or not. AZ, did you look for it?
Type it in the chat.
Yeah, not sure. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I see it's in the screen.
Okay.
Easier, AZ, if you load it up and share it, and then Ayana and I can talk about it. So we'll ask. There we go. Here we go. Yeah,
Well, thank
great.
you.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. So I'm going to um, let's see, make this full screen for me. So let's walk us through and just sort of tell AZ when you want her to change screens, but talk about your business. Make a presentation to our
Okay.
community about Shakir Consulting Services as you do with your website.
Well, it was established in August of 2019 out of from two paths. First and foremost, myself being a practitioner in social services for many years and always being overlooked for career development, supervisory roles. And I just came to, at that time, I just enrolled in my doctorate program. And I'm like, well, I am going to graduate school for a reason, for a purpose. And my purpose isn't to continue to be, I guess, a frontline worker, even though I felt that I did have a good impact in regards to my clients and people I serve. But however, I want to make a greater impact on my clients in the community at large, in myself. So I just took a leap of faith and I started established my own business, and I was able to get a contract with Ramsey County, first contract in January 2020. And if we go back to it slides around or whatever, but the first part about us, when I created my website, the first picture about our mission, it talks is really what's I wanted to kind of give a backstory when I created my website. So this picture, actually, that is my sister in the middle, Nyambi Shakir. And I was Googling like images for Black families, and when you Google the image for Black families, my sister's picture comes up. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect representation of my agency. Not only is it a Black family, but also my sister. And so our mission is to serve as a catalyst to others to realize their gifts, talents, and human potential. And that's for everyone. That's our clients, that's our employees, that's myself. Um, when I hire staff, I sometimes try to look at staff that maybe not would only from the community, but also that wouldn't necessarily have a chance to work for a large agency. I give people chances. I want to develop them. I want them to grow. I want them to learn. And also have good practitioners out there in the world. Also, the second reason why I started my agency was to help other practitioners of color like me start their own businesses, start their own clinics or firms and things of that nature, because there's a lot of people who are out there that are very knowledgeable, very good at what they do, but however, they lack some of the business acumen. Also, they may not know how to navigate the system like I do. So they may have knowledge of what they do in their career and their passion. They're very passionate about it, but they lack the navigation. So I also aspire to help aspiring entrepreneurs of color, establish their home-based businesses. I mean, not home-based business, but home and community-based businesses in regards to the home health care and things of that nature. And so some of the services, the next tab is some of our services that we provide. Like I spoke about last time was right now we have 3 programs. One is the contracted case management waiver services with Ramsey County. We currently have a contract with Ramsey County, but however, the services are offered throughout the state of Minnesota. So you can receive that at your county, prospective county that you reside in. All of our services are culturally centered, culturally responsive. We also provide culturally centered housing stabilization services, and that is throughout the state of Minnesota. So if you are an adult, you're currently on Medicaid, and you have a disability and you're at risk of being homeless, or you are homeless, you qualify for these services. And we also provide parent support outreach services or program. Again, this program is a state program as well. However, we currently only have a contract to provide services for Ramsey County families. And this program is very, very exciting because it allows families to receive help in their community, to receive resources, especially now during COVID. Even when you do get public assistance and things of that nature, you're still struggling to meet for basic needs, your needs to get met. So this program is very flexible in regards to being able to provide resources, provide different advocacy, different referrals for families that are at risk of child protection. And like I mentioned before, that I do a little bit of business consulting on the side. But the 3 programs I just mentioned are our main business programs. And the main one, again, is contracted case management with Ramsey County. We have about almost 150 clients currently.
I just texted my sister and asked her if she's watching the show, because this morning she and I talked about, as I mentioned last week, that our mom, that she is caretaker for here in Twin Cities. She and my mom moved from Florida back up here so that she could be with her children and another sister. So they're providing the 100% care for our mom. And you mentioned the phrase, I think, last week of, well, she and I talked about it. I can't think of it. Some kind of, it was
the
a care
waiver. Yeah, the
elderly waiver. That's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what it was. So she said, well, that's what we had in Florida, the elderly waiver, and that brought a lot of service to her. But when she's raised the question here in Minnesota, she's gotten no response, or people just not sure what she's talking about. So I wanted you to go into explaining that again. And what is she's 90, I think 8 years old. What is a 98-year-old eligible for? The sister who's doing the 24-hour care is, at least 65. I think she's 63 too, 65 maybe. And another sister who's 58 lives with, and may be eligible for, either training. And I wanted to connect her with you because maybe you provide that training directly for people in this field, and also direction, so how they can best serve and support our mom, who again has dementia and is in need of care 24/7. What do you think?
So pretty much with the elderly waiver and with all disability and aging waivers, they are federally funded through Medicaid. So it's as long as you meet the the disability requirements, and if you're over the age of 65, you're automatically qualified because of your age. And so in particular to the elderly waiver, all waivers, they allow for you to live in your home or live in your community and not live in institutions. So it prevents you from having to go to nursing homes or different things of that nature, more with a lot of times when there's a lot of people with development disabilities, then they were put into institutions a long time ago. So that has, is called the Olmstead Act, that they have the right to live in their home, in their community, to go to school, to work, to live, and things of that nature. So with the elderly waiver, traditionally, I think the African American community, we take care of our parents, and that's just how it works. We don't put them into nursing homes traditionally, and things of that nature. So a lot of times there's a lot of caregiver burnout because of that, because we don't know about these resources. And so if your loved one is over the age of 65, they can go to the county for an intake, and the county would do a min choice assessment to see what their needs are. So they will assess like how like their daily living activities. Are they able to take a shower on their own? Are they able to walk on their own? Are they able to stand, sit, clean their home, things of that nature? And if not, then they qualify for someone to come in and clean their home, or maybe qualify for someone to help them, give them a shower, or to help them eat. The elderly waiver, you also can get services like what they call traditionally PCA services or individual living services. There's also homemaking services, which is more so the home management piece. You could qualify for home delivered meals. You qualify for like Metro Mobility passes, like the bus pass type of thing, and the list goes on. With the elderly waiver is more restricted, but this other disability waivers is more, I guess, there's more things in regards to like employment services and things of that nature, particular for those waivers. But the elderly waiver helps with a lot of things, so you can preserve your family. You can also be as a caregiver, you can also get paid for some of those services. And being that there's a shortage of staff throughout the state of Minnesota, is better if it is someone that besides you having that trust factor, but also you can get immediate services that way.
My sister is watching. I asked her if she wanted to come onto the program. She hasn't responded yet, but I know she's watching, and she corrected me. She said she's 67 and that our other sister is 58, but our mom is 95. I said 98. She's 95. So I stand corrected. Thank you, Patricia, for correcting me. And again, if Patricia, you or Roz are able to join the program, I think it'd be great just to have a real-time conversation with Yana, because this is important information. And I know that we're not the only family facing this. So they live in Hennepin County.
Okay.
You're in Ramsey County, but your work so far, as I could tell, has been based in Ramsey County. Do you work in Hennepin County as well?
I know about Hennepin County's resources and services, so I can pull that up and give you the intake phone number and things of that nature. I'm very familiar with Hennepin from working with them in the past.
Great. Well, I'm going to have them actually call you up directly after this program. And maybe you can sort of guide them. And I'd love to have our family be a case study for you, and in a way that we can come back and report from time to time, because the experiences that they gain from having, the knowledge that you're able to share is experience that can be shared and that everybody else can benefit from as well. She said she's in Ramsey County. My note. I always thought she was in Minneapolis.
Well, awesome. And then also, they're, once they get, and even now there's different resources. Like I can connect her with the Volunteers of America. They have a cultural caregivers program, and they help with caregivers, giving them, education and different supports that they need.
And so the question of, say, if my younger sister, younger of the two of them, Roz, wanted to get some formal training and get paid for being a caregiver to our mom, or if Patricia, I don't know if she'd be eligible for getting paid. What I do know, I hope she won't mind me saying this, is that she has experienced just almost major personal trauma with the intensity of being alone as the caregiver when they were living in Florida. And it led to her going through, I think, having a stroke and just debilitating personal health. She's recovering from that as well. And so the question is, how do we make sure that we protect her? Number one, that she's protected in her desire to be of service to our mom, and that everybody can be as healthy as possible. So what should be happening? Should they be throwing up their hands and walking away because the risk and the cost of loving and caring is so great? Or should there be a way to continue to support them so that they are not alone and able to, create that positive environment for our mom
Yeah,
and also be healthy themselves? How do we
absolutely.
do that?
And also, like I said, connecting them to like caregivers, different caregivers organizations that give those support. And also, the waiver does include respite services. So, like whenever you may need a break, you may need to go somewhere, to the store or whatever, just some time for yourself, and you can bring someone in that can care for your mother
Hmm.
and while they're taking their break or what have you. So there's a variety of services that can support not only your mother but also her caregivers.
Hmm. She was, Patricia was telling me that what her experience was in Florida, and this caused her decision to move back to Minnesota as she had experienced a brain aneurysm. And, just that was a devastating and traumatic experience. But her daughters were able to come down there and with uh, as a group decided that they should both come back to Minnesota to live where her daughters live, and there would just be more daughters and grands
Right.
available and around. And she was saying this morning that a consequence of that is that my mother is laughing more. Laughter is the return of laughter is a good thing, and she's
Yes.
having more chance to laugh. That one of her daughters comes by every day, Athena, and just has our mother, rolling in laughter for the entire time they're there. And that is just a good feeling. And it's a good thing that she is experiencing joy and
Mhm.
not feeling so isolated,
Yes,
And she was
absolutely.
also saying, I hope you will mind me saying this, that, between Patricia and Roz, the two sisters, that Patricia by nature is not a talkative person, but Roz loves to talk, right? And so Roz and my mom can talk, for uh, an unending amount of time, and that closeness helps that. So how do we recognize what we mean to each other in
Mhm.
ways, but also
Mhm.
support that so that it's not, uh, you know, what you do for your mom
Mhm.
is not recognized and valued by society,
Right.
and what do we do to make sure that the revenue streams associated with
Mhm.
providing that healing and that care is both
Mhm.
recognized and realized
Yeah.
by Patricia and by Roz, or caregivers in the family in particular? What do you think?
Yes, that's absolutely true. That to highlight that and to like I said, there's so much because we take care of our family regardless. There's so much burnout. There's so much caregiver burnout, and but we want to also make sure that again, like you mentioned, how we don't want to be isolated. We don't want them to be in an institution where we can't pick up, we can't see them on a daily basis. We can't
Hmm.
pick up the phone, and a lot of times, like I mean, even though you do have access to these institutions, but still, is not the same as you taking care of your parent or your loved one.
Hmm.
And so, absolutely, this is something that, especially during COVID, has been really rough for all kinds of families, even those who are living like in community settings with lockdowns. They weren't able to see their loved ones. They were trying to do the FaceTime stuff, but still, that's not the same as human touch and love and improving our parents' quality of life. Like your mother lived for so long, may God continue to preserve all of you with a long life. And you want that quality of life, that their years, that their long life, not to be
Hmm.
uncomfortable, not to be depression, not to be isolated. You want them to be comfortable and have a good quality of life with their loved ones and around love and support.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So let's give your contact information again, Ayana. And if there are any other things you want to bring in, Patricia, if you're listening, if you have any questions or comments, why don't you type them in? I'm monitoring the email or the text between me and Patricia on my phone. And if you have questions, Patricia, that you want to ask, or if Roz has questions or comments, uh, text it to me now, and I'll share those with Ayana and any other listeners too. If you're listening or watching on Facebook or YouTube, I got a hello from Mdashilan Alam saying hello early in the program, and I
Hello.
responded with the hello, Imdashin Alam. Let's see, but
But my
we
direct
invite,
phone number,
yeah,
that on the site, that's just the agency phone number. But my direct phone number is area code 612
mhm.
259 8058. But on my website, if you do dial that the agency phone number, it gives you an option to reach me as well.
Great, great, great. Okay, well, I think that covers what we wanted to do today. Any other thoughts or feelings or things you want to bring up, Ayana?
No, this is just awesome, and
Business wise or community wise or culture wise or anything?
I'm just happy that to have again this platform, Mr. McFarlane, and I feel that you are an uncle to all of us, and that it is really just feels so good because you really instill, like, make us feel good about ourselves, and pride, and self-confidence. So I really want to appreciate that.
Well, I know I'm speaking from the vantage point of your parents and of your uncles and aunts and the people who you grew up around over in the Frogtown Summit University neighborhood in St. Paul. I can't tell you how proud we are of you. And obviously, we all believe that what you are doing, what you represent, what you stand for, is everything we hoped and prayed for. And so we see you as part of the unfolding of the divine work, right? The Great Commission to be of service to humanity. And we know that you have taken this charge seriously, that you know that what you do and what you think and the gifts you bring to the community are real and necessary. And you also know that you would be disserving the ancestors and disserving the Creator if you didn't walk boldly and bravely into the arena of creating community, of serving our people, because in serving our people, you serve the Creator and you serve the ancestors as well. That's what I think. So, Yana, thank you. Keep up the good work. And to those who are of your generation, my comments and my compliments go out to all of you. I think that we're at a great place as a people, that, the struggles that your parents went through to try to be educated themselves and to be entrepreneurs and to be in business was simply the assignment handed to them by their parents, and ad infinitum it goes back. But all of this is an unbroken chain, and the chain is sort of a return to forever, return to the Creator, a return to the grace of creation. And it's a wonderful thing to ever be where you can serve in a way that internally that you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing what the Creator has put you here for, and that you've stepped up and said, "Here am I. Send me. I'll do the work." And you do that with a sense of humility and a sense of pride and a sense of confidence, because this work is a work that is ordered already. So that's what I think. Ayana, thank you so much again. My sister says thanks, and she's going to give you a call today.
Okay.
And let's plan to check back. I think this is just a great conversation. And anytime we can share, we should. And that's what we're doing now. So I want to thank you so much.
Thank you. And like you mentioned, I wouldn't be able to do this without my parents, Sybil and the late Shim Shakir, and my uncles and aunts, the Staffords, and they all live here, but my mom's family lives out of state. So, but yeah, without them, there wouldn't be me, and I want to honor them for giving me a very good role models, and want to live their legacy.
Well said. Well said. Well, okay, that's it. I'm Al McFarlane. This has been Conversations with Al McFarlane. We'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, by the way, a couple of announcements. By next Wednesday's program, two things will be happening, I believe. One is that we're going to announce the launch of the Insight News Neighborhood Business Directory, and we're inviting all 30 of the participants of the B Marketplace, all the customers and clients of the Black Women's Wealth Alliance to be part of the launch, the formal launch of the Insight Neighborhood Business Directory. And though the details aren't worked out yet, I'm going to give you a preview of what our intention and plan is. We're going to have a promotional event where we will create a prize of $1,000 cash for a viewer, a listener who visits all of the, or as many of the businesses who are part of the Neighborhood Business Directory, the B Marketplace section in particular. So there are 30 businesses registered at the B Marketplace, and we're setting up a program, a process to allow you, the viewers and listeners, and our public to visit those businesses, to get to know them, hopefully to spend some money with them. This is about business and how we support each other. And we want to incent this interest, incentivize it by creating a cash prize so that a viewer or a listener who has the time and energy and the desire to connect with doing business with Black people can go to all those businesses and then post either a photograph or post an IG message saying that I was here, I met, I talked to them. Even if the visit is a virtual visit, some way of acknowledging that you've taken the time to connect with a Black-owned business, right? And there'll be a criteria that we'll spell out next week, but somebody in our viewing, listening audience is going to win a prize of $1,000 cash for having visited and connected with all of these 30 businesses that are part of the B Marketplace. That's number one. And number two, we are still assembling special premiums, special programs, special discounts and coupons that will be available to you. What are we doing this for? We want to really make it so that our people begin to do business with our people. And we think it's partly a question of highlighting the fact that we are here and highlighting the fact that we can and we do collaborate for the good of our businesses and our families and for the good of our community. Part of this is changing the habit we have. We have been accustomed by conditioning to not trust and to not utilize businesses in our own community, professionals in our own community. We want to change that. We think that by, again, collaboration, communication, upliftment, creating awareness and engagement using social media and the newspaper and programs like this, we want to change the narrative. The new narrative is a narrative in which the world sees us as an entrepreneurial people. And as entrepreneurs, we see what have traditionally been described as disparities and problems and all the negative, renderings of the experiences we have. We're saying, yeah, they're that, but they're also opportunities. And our choice is to see every problem as an opportunity, and our reaction to opportunity as entrepreneurs is to bring a solution, a viable solution, and a solution that we can monetize and we can create income and revenue from serving our people by being problem solvers. We want to be known as a race of problem solvers, and the evidence of our capacity to solve problems is the measurable revenue streams associated with the services and goods we provide to the marketplace, to ourselves and beyond. So that's an idea. And I want you who are listening, if you have a question about it or a comment or can support it, to talk about it, to share it, reach out to me directly. I'm at McFarlane Media at Gmail. It's McFarlane Media at Gmail. Reach out to me with your questions or comments or thoughts. We'd love to have you involved. And if we are effective in this project to launch our business directory, we simply want to replicate that and take it through other sectors of the community so that as a consequence in the long run, we continue to elevate Black-owned businesses, our ability to provide solutions for ourselves and for the market in general. But with that, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, either the Insight News channel or subscribe to the Black Press USA channel. If you're watching on Facebook, like and share and leave comments. The Facebook channels include the Insight News, McFarlane Media Facebook channel, but also the Black Press USA channel. Let me close with a statement of gratitude to Black Press USA. Insight News is a proud member of the Black Press of America. Our organization is called the National Newspaper Publishers Association. We refer to it as NNPA. NNPA is a trade association of over 200 Black-owned newspapers all over the country, and some in outlying Caribbean countries as well. And for 87, I think 88, 89 years now, the Black Press of America has served as a beacon, as a challenge to policies and practices that disadvantage and marginalize our people. We've been there and at the center of the fight for human rights and civil rights. We've been in partnership with the Black church and with community activists, and we think the tradition we are part of and we create is a critical one. We hope that as we proceed, we continue to use the technology to expand our connectivity. And not only are we presenting ourselves as Black Press of America, but we're part of a worldwide capability, a network of our people talking to our people, and in the process, remembering the thoughts, the ideas, the philosophies, the what's the right word for it? The moral structure that binds us together in a mission of being community, of being family. So all of this is really in play. We're proud to be part of it. We invite you to play your role, be yourself in the unfolding of destiny for ourselves, our people, and humanity. I'm Al McFarlane. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.